Sandra! Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button right below, right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as we're going along if you're enjoying content, if you find it useful, entertaining, informative, educational, or if you just want to give some love asexuality, just hit the thumbs up. And don't forget to share this video afterwards with anyone you think may benefit from it. If you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this beautiful book, Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of asexualise.com, the founder of Asexualise Academy, and I do sell asexualized asexual merch on Redbubble. If you're looking for any of those things, the links are down below. So in tonight's episode, I want to talk to you about make sure I'm loud enough for you. Can you hear me? In tonight's episode, I want to talk to you about it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry. So, one thing that I really get disturbed by is when I hear parents yelling or shouting or just being abrupt or telling kids no, they can't cry. So basically, near where I live lately, there's been a couple of instances when outside my window, I've been able to hear in the street this girl crying. She's in a pushchair, and basically the parent is telling the kid, shut up, stop crying, just stop it. And this is so bad because as children, hi Andy, nice to see you. As I was just explaining, I don't know how far you got into the video, I was just explaining that one thing that's I find really difficult. There's been, oh, hi Sam, nice to see you. Oh, my two besties on there. Nice to see you. We just need rain now. Lovely to see you both. So yeah, so I was explaining there's been a couple of instances lately that there's been this kid, yeah, the besties, exactly. There's been this kid out the back, this girl, where my window is. There's been a girl who's been in a pushchair and, oh, hi, Ray. Oh, I've got all my 3 asexual best friends here. This is amazing. Amazing. Now all we need is Heather, who's not asexual, she told me, but she's a big supporter of this channel. But anyway, yeah, I've got all my wonderful friends here. It's lovely. So there's been a couple of, I'm starting the video again. Yeah, there's been a couple of instances lately where out the back of my window, I've been able to hear this child crying, like really loudly, like almost screaming, as it were. And she's in a pushchair, and the parent is literally saying to her, shut up, stop crying, just stop it. And I absolutely hate that attitude from parents, right? When I was watching The Lion King in the cinema a few weeks ago, I was sat in the front row with kids with parents, and there was this little, what can't be more than, I don't know, kid that was probably about 2 or something. I don't even think it was that. I mean, it's still in nappies as far as I know. And there was like a mother, father, and like 4 children. This other one was like, you know, it still looked like it was in nappies. It's probably about 2 years old or something. I'm not entirely sure because I don't have kids of my own, but it's very young, and it's kept starting to cry and it kept wanting food and stuff. But, you know, the way they grab it quickly to take it out the cinema. I mean, I'm not being funny, but why take a kid that young to the cinema if they're not really going to enjoy it because they can't concentrate on the film? And if they really want food all the time, get the food prepared for them. You know, the trouble is the kid probably wanted more and more food, you know, but it was getting agitated and getting upset. But, you know, the attitude of the parents is obviously they don't want a scene being made of in front of other people. So they'll grab the kid, the baby or whatever, the young kid by its arms really quickly and swiftly move it out the way. And the way it's done is quite abrupt, you know. And I've even seen a long time ago, quite a few months ago now, when I came out the cinema, I was across the other side of the road and I heard dad telling his son to fuck off, excuse my language, because I think the son had jumped out of the dad and surprised him as a joke. And the father, instead of taking it lightheartedly, he's like, you don't do that. Don't you dare do to that to me. Just fuck off or something like that. Is swearing at his son, excuse the language. And I thought it was disgusting. Some parents shouldn't be parents. That's what I've seen. I was a weeks. Yeah, right. It's disgusting, you know. And the thing is, oh, thanks whoever gave the thumbs up. The thing is as kids, we're taught that it's not okay to cry. That if we cry, we'll get told to shut up, to put up, to basically, we'll get rejected if we cry. We'll get told to shut up. We'll get told we're too sensitive, which is a really bad thing of someone to say, right? Bad thing. Too sensitive, too emotional. Crybaby. I mean, how many times have you heard a parent say to a kid, oh, you're such a crybaby? And we're taught from a very early age that crying and getting emotional is bad. And that if we do that, we'll be rejected, we'll be shouted at, maybe screamed at by parents, we'll be made to shut up, we're made to be quiet, we're made to dampen down. And so a kid usually ends up just carrying on crying, and then obviously eventually till they get so scared that they can't cry anymore because they realize that they're kind of in a threatening situation. And kids shouldn't be put through that. A kid's crying because it's trying to tell you something. That's the way. I don't have kids of my own, okay, so I am judging by my experience, okay, which isn't from the parental side, it's from what I observe, okay, because I'm not a parent and I'm not going to make out I am. So but I do actually get on really well with kids, despite not wanting kids. Like, strangers have always, like, kids who don't know me, has always come up to me. Like, when I was an older teenager, I think I was in my late teens, don't even know if I was in my early 20s, and as a birth certificate age. And this kid, I was at Timoth Carnival, and this kid, I think I must have been in my teens actually, because I think I was still living at home. This kid, she literally came and put her hand in my hand and started watching the carnival with me, like she knew me. And there's been kids like that have got lost from their parents when I used to be in the supermarket with my parents when I was a kid, and they just used to trust me. And I've had kids in my old job that just used to start like wanting to hold my hand and stuff because they know, even though I say I don't want kids, they know that they can trust me. I'm kind. If I'm ever around kids, I'm kind to them. I don't want them to come to harm. I'm very protective over people, actually. I'm very protective over friends that have been hurt. It's like when we did an asexual meetup, one of the people who was at the meetup, he just hurt his finger when he was out getting some trousers, actually, because he needed to get new trousers. And he hurt his finger, and it wasn't really a major deal, but I kind of made it a bit more of a major deal. Like, let's get some ice, let's make sure it's all right, because I don't like to see people hurt. And I've always been like that. Like, I used to have a friend who was like 4.5 years younger than me. And if ever she was injured, like cut herself, I'd be like, oh, quick, let's get the cream, let's put it on, because I'm a caring person. So just because I don't have kids of my own, I've never wanted kids, I actually used to, when I was growing up as a like 15 years old, I was trying to decide what I wanted to do with my life. One of them, really ironically, was to thinking about working with children, because I am actually very, very good with children, despite not wanting them of my own. So because I care, because I'm very emotionally very emotionally very emotionally on their wavelength, but also I treat them like a little adult. I take them seriously, Andy, disgraceful to talk to a child like that. Exactly. Some parents shouldn't be parents. Ray, me as always give you thumbs up. Oh, thank you, Ray. You're so sweet. If a child is crying, the parent should find out why, not shut them up. You was very good with me when I hurt myself too and showed your concern. Oh, thank you, Sam. Yeah. I was very worried about you. My friend Sam, they took me home from the cinema Shazam we saw when we met up, and Sam hurt their foot, their ankle it was, wasn't it? And your ankle swelled up really badly when they got back to the hotel. They had to go to the walking centre the next day, and I had to go somewhere else because I had a meeting that I couldn't get out of the next morning. I felt really bad that I couldn't come to the hospital with you because you had to get it checked out by a hospital. So yeah, I really do care like that. Although I'm not wanting to be a mother, I have this side of me that is very, very caring and compassionate and always would care about the person. I don't want people to come to harm. I don't, even if an ambulance goes by, I start getting really concerned. I hope the person's okay. Because I hear quite a lot of ambulances outside my window, and I'm always concerned that I hope the person, pray that I don't know who they are, but I hope they're okay. Because I don't like people hurt, But there are so many children in this society that are being taught to shut up when they cry. That's all the parents say, shut up, and it's so nasty. Why not cuddle the kid? Why not actually get down on its level and speak to it and say, look, what is wrong? I mean, I know some parents find it difficult because it's like the kid wants to get their own way all the time. But as adults, we can do what we like anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like our lives are our own when we're an adult. But the thing is the problem is, when we're an adult, all these things that we were taught as a kid, we were being punished to crying emotional. Hi Heather. Oh, my fourth favorite person here. Lovely, Heather. I was just talking about you earlier, saying, oh, I got all my 3 best asexual friends here, but Heather's not asexual. But where's Heather? She's usually on this channel. 4. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. I've got all my friends tonight. I love you all so much. And some other people are watching in silence. So hello, whoever else is watching too. So yeah, and the problem is when we're a child and then we're spoken to like this, when we cry, we're told to shut up and we're told to, basically dull down our emotions. It's not okay to cry. It's not okay to be emotional. This is when we get problems later on in life. All these children that are taught this, because when you have your life from like 0 to 6 or up to 7, that is when your life is shaped. Your programming in your mind of what's allowed, disallowed in life, what's good, what's bad. This is why some kids, when they see I haven't had parents abusing each other and stuff like that, so don't think I have, but I know there's even an asexual person, they've seen abuse when they were younger, and I'm sure there's other asexuals, that have seen abuse going on in families as well. I know people have told me in private message, I'm not going to say who they are, right? When they're children and they're taught that abuse is okay or it's right and stuff like this, it's not all right. And, telling a kid to shut up, to my mind, is quite, it can get quite verbally abusive, because it's basically saying you're not okay to be yourself. You're not okay to cry. You're not okay to be emotional. It's like sponging all the emotions out of you till you're wrung dry. And imagine like a kid growing up like that and having to take that out into the adult world. A lot of kids as an adult, they'd be like, I can't tell the truth in relationships because if I show my true emotions, I get punished. The person will leave me. They'll reject me. They'll shout at me. They'll scream at me. They'll go away from me. So that means I've got to keep all my emotions pent up. That means I've got to never cry and show emotions. I've got to be in complete control all the time and, live like that. And that's actually an artificial way to live, because as human beings, we're not robots. We are human beings. One of the gifts we've been given is emotions. And it is a gift if you have emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence allows you to be emotional yourself and to basically kind of spiritually connect with other people and understand their emotions as well. Understand, like, intuitively when someone's upset or in pain or hurt, that you can see it. I can see it in people's faces. I mean, it was really strange. In my old job, there was a guy and he used to have depression, anxiety, but other people didn't know it, and I did. And I used to know when he was upset, and no one else did. They used to think he was really happy and fine, and I always could see it in his face. I could just tell. He used to say to me, how do you know that about me? It's really weird. And because I know him for so long, I just knew the way he was. I just knew the facial expressions and stuff. And I can see behind people's eyes and stuff. You know, when they're not, you know, like that's why it's really annoying if I ever have a guy who's lying to me, because I can usually always, it doesn't matter how many times he may tell me 10 times something, I know if he's lying. I can just feel it. I can just see it in his face and his body language. I can just tell. I can just tell. And it's horrible when that happens, because I know they're not telling me the truth. And it's like, well, you've betrayed me, you've lied. And even though you carry on 20 times telling me you're not, I just can see it. I can see it all over you. There's either they're not telling me the truth, or there's something they're hiding from me, which is like not telling me the truth anyway. That's why there are a lot of depression. That's why there is a lot of depression. But I'm here to tell you that it's okay to cry. It's okay to be emotional. You know, we're not taught this as kids. And I just think it's disgusting. It's why so many adults have got problems today, because of their things that have gone in their childhood. And this is particularly one of them that I feel very strongly about, because, you know, no child should be told to shut up. If you don't want a child to cry, then find out why it's crying in the first place. Talk to it, cuddle it, show it some love, show it that when it's upset, that you care about the person. I know some parents would be like, oh, well, it just wants to have attention. But a kid does need a lot of attention. Don't have kids if you don't want to give them any attention. A kid does need a lot of attention. It's just the way kids are, and because they're finding out about things. They're exploring life. They're trying to make sense of the world, you know? And, you know, a lot of kids do like attention, but not all of them. Even teachers tell kids to stop crying. Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, a lot of people in the world, they tell kids don't cry. But what message does that send later on? You're not allowed to cry. There's something that teaches us crying's wrong. Shouldn't do it, because if you do it, you get told off. What sort of message is that sending? Then no wonder there's quite a lot of people in the world that can't emotionally connect with others when they're told, oh, sorry, you have to cut your emotions off. You're not allowed to cry. It's wrong. There is nothing wrong with crying. In fact, crying is very good for you. Like, if you don't cry every now and again, and you just pent up all your emotions, you know, it will come out in other ways. It'll come out in comments to other people. It will come out in explosions, whether that be like within yourself or outwardly. It will manifest in your subconscious. It will cause you, like Heather said, it will cause you depression. It will cause you anxiety, because you'll think, I can't be myself. I can't express my emotions. I'm not allowed to. Something's wrong with it. You know, but we're called human beings for a reason. We're not a robot. Robots are designed originally to have all emotions wiped out, so that they just are literally a program, isn't it? But we've been programmed since kids to believe that crying's wrong, but there isn't. Shaming people, yeah, no one should ever be ashamed to cry. Exactly, Andy. And I think it's really bad that guys are taught as well, in particular. You know, guys are taught that they have to hold these emotions, that like you're the man, you know, and actually a proper masculine man would have some femininity about him, and would have the ability to lock into his emotions and express them at times when needed, or when he can, or when he should. Obviously, if you've got a person that's continually crying, they need to get some therapy, because that's not normal if they're crying day in, day out. I used to cry a lot because I had to have counselling, because I was very, very depressed. So I used to spend a lot of time. There was a reason why I was crying, though. Very good reasons in those times, you know, because I wasn't a happy person. Wasn't a happy, you know, I'm not saying everything was unhappy, but there was a lot of things I wasn't happy about. I went through more than a decade of severe panic attacks, and most people just made me feel bad about it. Let emotions out is good. True, however, they guilt you not to cry. Yeah, they do. I know. I mean, panic attacks are very difficult. I've had a few panic attacks, and they feel like you can't breathe. It's very difficult. You know, when you can't breathe, and it makes you feel like something's really terribly wrong, which then sends you more panicky. I know when I spoke to homeopath, he's like, you know, breathe into a paper bag, because it gets the oxygen back into your lungs. But it's really difficult when you're panicky. That's it. Sometimes, you know, I can get panicky, and it just overcomes me. And it's horrible, isn't it? Because you get like dizzy, your breathing gets really weird, and then you panic more, and it's just like, it's really difficult, you know. And the fact is, if you worry about it, it just makes it worse, you know. And that's the problem. Like, anxiety and panic breed anxiety and panic. So it's good to work out things what help you, really. Because sometimes you can just do so much in your life to try and push through your fears that you end up really like, oh my gosh, I've done a bit too much. I need to just go a little bit slower. But I wanted to share this with you because it really upsets me when I hear this girl crying out the back, and a parent, she got a parent, I don't know if it's both parents, but they literally just tell her to shut up all the time. Shut up, crying. That's all I hear them saying. It's just horrible. I've even heard parents tell them to F off when they're crying and swear at them. It's disgusting. A panic attack in hot rooms are the worst. I don't like saunas a lot of the time because they're too hot for me. I know we're digressing on a slight different topic. I don't really have a panic attack in them, but I do get, like, a lot of the time. I think last time I was okay in one, but the majority of the time it's just too hot. I can't breathe in it. It's like, I want air in my lungs. Thanks very much. But yeah, I mean, I really just wanted to say on this video that it is okay to cry and it's okay to be emotional. We shouldn't be teaching our children and the children of our world that it's not okay to cry. Crying associated with punishment of being shouted at, looked down on, told off. That's a really, really bad thing. And when you have years and months and weeks of being your emotions shut down, that you're not, it makes you feel like you're insignificant. It makes you feel like you don't have a voice. It makes you feel like you're not worthy. And I think, all those kids will grow up damaged. Yeah, they will, and it's hard to reverse that damage. It is hard to reverse that damage. People just seem to be disconnected from their kids these days. Kids and adults should be allowed to show their emotions. Yeah. I mean, parents just, I don't know what it is. Like you said, these days, it's like they seem to, like, they can't tune into their kids' emotions. And I'm guessing that's because they've been taught not to be emotional. So it goes in a cycle, the parents are not emotional, the parents were told not to cry as a kid, be brave, don't cry, and all the rest of it. Don't be a crybaby, be controlled, and then the parents grow up thinking that they need to control all their emotions and not let anything out and live this sort of very controlled, like, or just non-responsive emotional life. And then they pass it down to their children, or they try to pass it down to their children by telling them off. No, you're not to cry. No, stop doing that. No, it's no good. And then it goes down from generation to generation. But obviously there's people like, for example, me, and some people no doubt like you, who stop that cycle in a way. But I don't stop the cycle because I'm not having kids. But obviously I stop the cycle, I help stop it if I tell people it's okay to cry. Most are playing on computer games instead of seeing the kids. Yeah. I mean, parents are engrossed in their phones these days. How many parents do you actually see on the phone going text? And it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like, aren't you going to talk to your children? I mean, TV should be switched off to talk to your kids. Computer games should be turned off to talk to your kids. I know the kids like playing computer games, but the mobile phones should be turned off. There should be kids and parents time where you're actually, talking about what's gone on in your day, what's gone on in your life, what's happening, in a good way. And kids should be able to talk to their parents about anything, I think, It's like they should be able to go to their parents about sex, not have their parents go, rah, rah, rah. Do you know what I mean? Some kids, unfortunately, they do have sex really young. And when there's no one to guide them because they've got no one to talk to, I mean, do you know what I mean? It's not good, is it? A lot of the outcome is pregnancy or bad stuff happening. I don't want kids of my own, but if I did, I'd want them to tell me anything and everything. I wouldn't, just because they're my kids. I'd want them to be open and honest. Yes, they should have some family time every day where possible. Exactly. It's like in a relationship. If you ever get into an actual relationship, you should turn off your phone. It's like, I don't have my phone on the whole time I'm with my friends because I need to spend quality time with my friends. I need to not be on my phone messaging all the time. It's rude. It's really rude. Do you know what I mean? So it's like today I spent over an hour and a half with my friends and a best friend and her guy. And I had my phone in my bag, you know, I wasn't looking at it. It wasn't actually off, it was on silent, but it was in my bag. And I didn't have anything to do with it apart from to show them videos, which is part of the conversation. My kids are in their 20 and no BFF or girlfriend and no sex. I know, Ray. I need a guy who doesn't want sex. But yeah, Indian. I need an Indian guy. Oh my God. I like Indian guys. Actually, I had a guy reply me on ace-book.net today. It's like, whoop, whoop. He looks Indian, but he's not in this country. And I asked him if he's looking on the site looking for a relationship or if he's just looking for friends. And is he staying where he is or moving? I know you're here, Ray, but I don't get aesthetically attracted to older guys. If I did, obviously you'd be in line, but I'm not. I'm just not aesthetically attracted to older guys. I really like you dearly as a friend. I think you're an amazing guy. I think you have lots of qualities that I would like in a guy, but I'm not aesthetically attracted to older guys. I'm aesthetically attracted to guys in their 20s. Like, I want to kiss guys in their 20s. Guys, I know, like guys who are older than me, I don't want to kiss them. I can't kiss them physically. I just can't do it. Be like kissing my dad, not my literal dad, but you know what I mean. I know it is a shame, but because I just think you're such a great guy and you've got lots of qualities I would like in a relationship. But I need a young guy. Do you know what I mean? For me, young guy, young. I like short, dark hair, like brown hair as well, and I like I like coloured skin, and I like a guy in his 20s because I can get really super close with him and cuddle him. I can't. Time machine is almost built. Yeah, hurry up, Ray. What are you doing? But yeah, I know you'd like to be in a relationship with me. Thank you. I do really appreciate you. I know you're amazing. You've got a lot of qualities I would like in a guy, I have to admit, but I just need a younger guy. Do you know what I mean? I can't. It's really difficult as well because I know I'm digressing here, completely off a different topic. Can I borrow that, Ray? I'm digressing off a different topic, but yeah, it really is difficult when I'm going on a completely different topic now, which I wasn't going to go into tonight. But as it came up, yeah, it's really difficult because my best female friend, who's amazing, I love her to bits, as a friend, she doesn't understand the thing with age. I keep saying I need a younger guy. She goes, "Oh, it's not about age." I'm like, but it really is for me. I can't physically kiss an older guy. Do you know, I just can't, I'm not saying there's not exceptions to the rule, but in the main, I can't kiss an older guy. Like the oldest guy I've ever kissed was 43, but he looked 35 and he was foreign with coloured skin and he looked Indian, even though he wasn't. And he was thin, but even that was weird. I did a video about it. Like, even hugging him was weird, especially at first, because it was like, I'm hugging an older body. This is weird. But you know what I mean? But he was heterosexual, so no good for me. And I still prefer a younger guy. I much prefer a guy in his 20s. I much prefer it. It can be later 20s because I think they know what they want a bit more then. But do you know what I mean? And it's really hard when my best friend's like going, best female friend, obviously I've got my other best friends here. She's not asexual, but she doesn't understand about the age, and she's actually kissed an 18-year-old. I haven't even kissed an 18-year-old. So she was, at the time, she was like, oh, she was very she didn't understand, it kind of cringed when I said I like younger guys, but then one day she tried kissing a younger guy. She actually really liked it. She thought it was one of the best kisses she'd had. I said, see, you know why I like younger guys now. But it's like the other day when I was out with her and her other friend, she just didn't understand the fact I like younger guys. And she's very understanding over quite a lot of stuff, but she's like, oh, it's not about age. It's not about age. I even mentioned Ray, actually. I said, oh, there's a guy that I get on really well with who's asexual, who's 55, but he's too old for me, because I just don't get aesthetically attracted to him. He is actually a really lovely person. I love his, because she said, oh, it's about personality stuff. And I'm like, yes, but for me, I have to have a younger guy still, because Ray, I said, Ray's got a lovely personality. I said, I know someone who's asexual who would love to be in a relationship with me, but he's like 55, he's older, and I just can't be attracted to an old guy, even though I love his personality. So I did actually mention to you, Ray, to my best female friend. I am the same though. I can't be kissing for hours, laugh out loud, cuddles, yay. Oh yeah, though you can't be kissing for hours. Yeah, that's a major difference between you and me, Sam, isn't it? And obviously you like kissing guys, and I'm a female, and I like kissing guys too. But yeah, but I love kissing for hours. Like I was that guy, that Indian guy at the club recently. Like he must have been kissing me for over an hour. I agree, Sam. I like cuddling, not kissing. But you know, I love kissing. That's another. But Ray could kiss me. I know that he hasn't got a problem with that. I know. I really do like Ray. Don't get me wrong. I think Ray's beautiful person. I love his personality so much. But I'm aesthetic attracted to younger guys. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't see me kissing you, Ray, unfortunately for you. Sorry. I just couldn't see it. I just couldn't picture it. I couldn't feel that way. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you show me a picture of your son, I could kiss your son. I'm like, yeah, he's very kissable. Like, I know I could kiss him. Obviously, I couldn't kiss him unless he wanted me to kiss him, but a guy that's in his early 20s, that son. Because I just know that because he's got short dark hair and he's and I can shoot. Yeah, but I don't forget, I don't like living in the countryside and you do. And I don't like sharp objects and you do. I don't mind. I do actually like archery. I've tried it before. So, and I actually did used to shoot a rifle when I was a kid, like a pellet gun I used to shoot. So I have actually got shooting experience. But yeah, but you know, I remember you said on a previous video you like living in the countryside. I live in the city. You like sharp things. I like as many no sharp things as I can. So we have got some different interests like that. Do you know what I mean? But I do like a lot of your qualities, I have to admit. Thank you for the offer. It's really nice. At least I know I have an offer. And you're part Indian. So that does make you very attractive in terms of your part Indian, I have to say. But I'm willing to move. Oh, right. No, I'm really going red. That's very sweet of you. I don't think you'd say that for any other woman either, actually, girl. But yeah, I know. Well, I didn't know that actually. I thought you were very settled where you live. Wow. See, you've made Sandra quiet now. She doesn't know what to say. It doesn't usually happen. Cool, Sandra. See, you've actually made me completely silent. I don't know what to say to that. You've shocked me. I know you really like me. I really like you too, but I need a aesthetically younger guy because I can't kiss an older guy and I need to be kissed. You know, I like kissing and close body contact with clothes on. It's very, very important for me. But I couldn't do that with you because I don't see you in that way. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really sorry. Oh, it's really nice. At least you're very brave and bold, and you stick up for me. I love all those things about you as well. You have a lot of good qualities. I do admit. Do you know what I mean? You're not like some of these guys that can't even come on my channel. It's like I can't be seen on Sandra's channel. Oh my god, she's asexual to the world. It's like, yeah, of course I'm asexual to the world. I do work for for asexuals. What do you expect? Typically, it's a lot of the guys who say they're interested in a relationship with me. The asexual ones that usually like that. Like, oh no, I couldn't be out with you. It's ridiculous. And he saves lots of doggies' lives. Exactly. I love Ray's personality. I love what Ray does for animals because I'm a huge animal lover. I like the fact Ray's part Indian and he sends me videos and photographs. I do like a lot of qualities about Ray, actually. Yeah, Ray does a lot of good stuff. I do like archery as well, but do you see? But the aesthetic. I can't. People don't understand that. I can't be with someone just based on personality. I know that might sound weird, but I have to have aesthetics as well. Not that Ray probably isn't attractive aesthetically to some other women, and he's not attractive in and of himself. Just that I'm not attracted to an older guy look. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to use my words very carefully here. Do you know what I mean? You keep yourself in shape for being an older guy. You do. But it's like, I like, if I had an older guy which I don't want. But if I did, I'd always be trying to make him younger. I'd be like, I need to see him in younger clothes. I need to see his wallpaper, you know, like painting like his house young. I'd need to see like young stuff around the house. I need to like, do you know what I mean? I just like, I'm so like a teenager myself. I can't be doing with older stuff. Do you know what I mean? I can understand, Sandra. Thank you. Thank you. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was an older guy, you'd be first in line. But yeah, I just can't. I have thought about it because I get on really well with you. It has crossed my mind. Like, could you be with Ray? It's like, no, I couldn't kiss Ray. And being a hyper romantic, I kind of think about all these types of things. But yes, but because you are really nice. The qualities you have are lovely, I have to say. Really, really, really nice qualities. Really nice qualities. And it's difficult to find a really nice guy with good qualities like yours. I do know that. But it's just like, you know, it's like I can't be someone I'm not. I can't make myself someone I'm not. I really believe like I'm meant to be with a young Indian guy. It's okay. Do you know what I mean? It's like if I was around yours, Ray, I'd be fancying your son and wanting to kiss your son. That wouldn't really be right, would it? You know, because I would see myself as being more his age, even though in birth certificate age I'm older. I wouldn't see myself as an older one. I'd see myself as like one of your kids, probably. Do you know what I mean? In that kind of sense, it'd be weird actually, because it'd be like, on the one hand, I feel like I was one of your kids, and then the other hand, I'd feel like I know you on the more adult level. So it would be quite strange if I ever did that scenario happen. It'd be very weird, because it's like that's like why it's very difficult for me to be with any older guy, you know, because there's an older guy down here that likes me. He's not asexual. He's got a 21-year-old daughter, and it's like I'd be wanting to go out with a 20-year-old daughter, 1-year-old daughter, clubbing together and see what young guy I could kiss that's Indian. Do you know what I mean? It's like not really what you're meant to be doing. Do you know what I mean? I would always fancy the son rather than the father. Well, he doesn't have a son as far as I know, but you know, I'd always, you know, if in a case scenario when the father had a son in his 20s, I would more likely always fancy the son, not the dad. Do you know what I mean? That's just the way it is. It's just really difficult for me because like you know, when my best female friend, she doesn't understand. It's like, oh, it's not about age, but it is for me. Like if an older guy looks really, really, really young, then that could be a possibility as well. Like if a guy in his 30s looks like 10 years younger, that's a possibility because it's how the person needs to look aesthetically younger. They just do. I can't, you know, I can't be attracted to someone who is looking older. Do you know what I mean? I prefer a guy to look permanently younger. Like there's some guys and they get very, very self-conscious. Some say I look 40, ha ha ha. I'm gonna refrain from answering that. I refrain from answering that, but I don't. You see, even if you looked 40, I'm still attracted to a guy half your age, 21. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? I always prefer younger guys. I mean, they're not always good for me though, because a lot of them don't know what they want. They haven't established their own life yet. They don't know how to really be a strong guy. And it is more difficult. They're not so trustworthy, I think, because they don't know what they want and they're all over the place, some of them. Do you know what I mean? Mind you, I can dye my hair. Oh, Ray, you're so sweet, really, so sweet. Oh my god, you're so sweet. You're really, really making me go very silent on this channel. I've never had this before. I think it's really, really sweet. I do admit you got a lot of courage. I really admire that in you as well. It's nice, really nice. I think the young guys should learn from you. You should teach them how to date properly and have a relationship and pursue a woman. You'd be a superstar doing that. You know what it takes. They don't have a clue, half of them. They're like, oh, I have to make an effort. I have to actually text someone. I'm like, yeah, you have to text someone. It's true though, you know what to do. A lot of the younger guys, they're like quite clueless, you know. It's like I don't want to have to chase the younger guys. They should be pursuing me, not me having to go after them. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a like, what the heck's going on with that? You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to have to like think I've got to be like chasing them. I don't chase guys. I don't think it's right. And so yeah, we've really gone off topic from from crying as a kid. But yeah, it is. It's like my ex, my long-term ex. He looked at least 10 years younger than he was, even though he wasn't foreign. My last long-term ex, well, I had boyfriends at foreign, but he looked at least 10 years younger than he was. So he didn't really age that much. To be honest, he stayed pretty much the same age most of the time I was with him. So, you know, there's a lot of guys. Actually, there's a lot of kids. There's quite a number of guys who are kids, and they grow up still looking like a kid and still looking very, very young for their age. I mean, obviously, I don't want to be with actual kid. That's disgusting. I'm not into that. Guy 21 upwards is my, you know, ideal, right? And what I'm saying is, though, they're kids, and the guys, they grow up, if they look young and they're one of those kids that always looks young and they can't look older, they really feel bad about themselves. And some of them have body dysmorphia as well. And that makes them really upset, and they hate their body and stuff like that. I've met guys like that, but actually that's the type of guy I like. I like a guy who's got hairless chest, because I don't like hair on the chest. I like a guy who can't age very much. Do you know what I mean? I like a guy who always looks younger, because I don't like older looking guys. And so that actually is where they see themselves as inadequate, not a real man, because they haven't got a real man's body and they feel really ashamed of their body. I actually like that type of body. I like the body where there's no chest hair and the guy looks younger and stuff. Do you know what I mean? So I you know, I could be with someone like that, and where they see that as their downfall, as their problem and their issue, and they feel really insecure about it, I think it's wonderful feature of them and something I'd really like. Do you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I just think it's a shame as well. That's another thing as a child, you know, that, you know, you have got very much these stereotypes. And if you don't fit into the box, then there's something wrong with you. And that's a really bad message to send to kids, you know? It's like, I think people should be happy with whatever body shape they've got. You know, some people will always be skinny. Some people will probably always be on the more larger side. Some people will have like ginger hair. Some people will have a big nose. Some people will have sticky out teeth. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way you're born, and there's no shame in that. I think people should really be encouraged to be who they are and to love and appreciate their body and themselves as they are. But as kids, when we're shut down for being who we are emotionally, when we're told to shut up, when feel like we're made to feel like we're in the way and we're not valuable to people or society and we're worthless. I mean, there's no wonder why there's so many people depressed and anxious in the world as adults, when they were made to feel inadequate and weren't listened to as a child. You know, they were made to feel bad and like there's something wrong with them, you know. But it's okay to cry and be emotional. In fact, it's much more healthier. You know, a lot of people that bottle their emotions up, they end up letting them out in other ways that are not so healthy. It might be snidey comments to other people, might be sarcasm, it might be they explode one day, it might be that they go inward and they hurt themselves, you know, because their health is bad, or they're always keeping their thoughts to themselves and they feel like no one understands them actually. You know, no, because they feel they can't let out their true emotions because other people wouldn't understand. So I need to dye hair, become young, shave chest, and go to gym. No, I don't. I don't like a gym body. I like a skinny guy. I don't like a gym body. I don't like six pack. I don't get attracted to that. It's like an armadillo to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like an armadillo. Seriously, how can you cuddle an armadillo? So I don't mind a guy if he's got a little bit of muscle on his arms, but I don't like muscly chest. It really puts me off. I just like smooth skin. Like, I shave my arms, right? So most of my body, apart from my hands, is like young. So this is like all, you know, all my arms are shaved. I don't have any hair on my arms. It's only my hands that get old looking because I get dermatitis on them. They look like much older than the rest of me. Oh, that's good. Chim out then. I think you keep fit anyway, Ray, with all the stuff you do with dogs. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like, I just feel happier with a guy's young body in mind. I don't think about me being the birth certificate age that I am. It just doesn't compute to me. I'm so far away from what it is that I just don't live like that. So to me, in my mind, I'm like in my early 20s myself. And to be with someone who's 55, you'd be like, what, like 35 years older than me or something. It's just like, you'd be like, I feel like you were in aesthetic terms, like a dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're old enough to be my dad, even though in mindset terms, do you know what I mean? And so that's why it's kind of weird, because I'm on your level when I speak to you, because I have all this experience and adult talk, but also I'm really, really young. It's good to see me laugh. Thank you. So it's like I feel like I was more like in tune with your son in terms of like, do you know what I mean? Like attraction and cuddling and stuff, if I'm honest. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's really weird to describe, because I don't think, especially as I'm asexual, liking younger guys, female liking younger guys, I find there's not really anyone to talk to about that, you know? Because literally, you know, like there's loads of sexual cougars, you know, women that like young guys for sex and young guys that like older women for sex. But I don't like sex, don't want it, don't need it. And so it's kind of really difficult for me. There's not many. There was one other asexual female cougar woman I met a long, long time ago from America, but she looked older. Do you know what I mean? And so it's kind of really difficult, I think. As a female asexual person who's attracted to younger guys, I do find it more difficult. Like, I can get a sexual guy easily. I can get a heterosexual guy for sex or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's not difficult for me. You know, people don't seem to understand. Some asexuals are like, oh, well, you know, you're having a really hard time getting a guy. It's like, well, not a sexual guy. I'm not. It's not difficult for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, loads of guys want sex with me. I'm not interested in sex, though, am I? I don't really understand why young guys would love to have sex with me. Yeah, no young guy, you know, like young, there hasn't been the young right guy for a relationship yet. But that doesn't mean to say there's not going to be. I honestly believe I do have a young Indian soulmate who's asexual. I do believe he'll come into my path. I do believe I will meet him and I will be in a relationship with him in the future. I do really believe that very, very strongly. I know the guy's Indian. I just know he's Indian. How I know, but I know. Everything tells me this guy's Indian. He's out there. Exactly, Sam. I feel him. It's like I've known him in a past life. I feel him. He's with me, but not with me. I don't know where the heck he is, but I'm sure I've known him before. I don't know where he is though, but he will like me. He'll like an older girl because I'm not really older. He will come when the time is right. Yeah, he will show up in my life when the time is right. Yeah, that's what I think. You know, I'll keep putting myself in situations where he's likely to come across me, but I won't hold my breath for a while. I mean, to be honest, I have to get my career stuff sorted out first. And I think that's partly why I haven't met him yet. There's like, I am not in the correct position for him to meet me yet. I don't think the timing's right for him to come into me, to actually meet me as a permanent fixture yet. Or not in the current circumstances. I think it's like, I got stuff at the moment that I'm kind of like letting go of, like personal possessions and stuff. So like I need to let some more of those go, you know, make change, because obviously, I mean, I don't want to live with a guy, but I don't know where the guy's going to be. Do you know what I mean? I love living in this flat and I don't want to move, but I have a feeling the guy might end up in London. So I don't know whether that would mean he would move to me or I would have to move up there, or whether he would commute to him. I don't know what would happen, but maybe he's actually in my city and I just haven't met him yet, because that is also a possibility, because there is actually a lot of foreign guys in my city. I mean, I've met 2 Indian guys, haven't I? Unfortunately, they're both sexual and they don't want a relationship. But I have met 2 in their 20s, but those have been the only guys that have been like, apart from the older guys I don't want anything to do with. Those have been the only really younger guys that have been really, interested in being close to me, really. Happen to be Indian guys, but it's good because, like, I have the ability to attract younger Indian guys and to attract younger guys. Like, I do attract a lot of asexual younger guys, but they're not very brave in the sense that because I'm out about being asexual, a lot of them, I mean, it really is just an excuse, isn't it? But a lot of them, like, they don't like the fact that I'm in, the public eye. It's like, oh, I can't be seen with Sandra in public because she's in public about being asexual. Do you know what I mean? It's just silly, really. Obviously they're not the right guy for me, because the right guy won't care about that. He'll just be strong and won't worry about it, and he'll trust me, and he'll just be amazing. Do you know what I mean? Like, like my friends here, you guys, girls, non-binary, you all trust me. And so, when the time's right, the right guy will show up. And I believe he's Indian because I can't really be physically close to any other guy but Indian. I've noticed this about myself. I find it really, really difficult. You'd have to look Indian, even if he wasn't Indian. Like, if he's Sri Lankan, maybe. Or he'd have to be foreign. I trust you 100%. Thank you, Andy. Bless you. That's really sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah. I need a guy who's going to be as trustworthy as me as well. They're very difficult to find. There are obviously some in this stream, which is great. And Sam, who's non-binary. But, it's really important because, I need 100% trust back. And it's very, very difficult to get that. Very difficult. I mean, Sam's the one I trust most out of everyone I know, because obviously Ray I've only just getting to know, but I trust you a lot, Ray, already. Andy I trust loads. Sam, because Sam's got exactly the same boundaries as me in a relationship, versus friendship, exactly the same, pretty much, nearly spot on. Then that's why, as do I, trust you 100%. Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much. So it's like, out of all the people I know, Sam's the person I ultimately trust the absolute most, if I'm being honest, which I'm sure you'd want me to be honest, because Sam has exactly the same boundaries as me. Like, Sam will not cuddle anyone who's just a friend. Sam won't do that. And so I know in relationship terms, even though me and Sam can't have a relationship because we're not, Sam's attracted to guys, I'm clearly female. I like kissing, Sam doesn't. Very much not female anyway, and so we can't be in a relationship. We can have a really good friendship. I trust you as well, as you know. Thank you, Ray. Thank you so much. Kisses to Sam, Andy, Ray, and Heather, who's probably still watching. Everyone, I really appreciate you all. Really, really, I do. Yeah, really, I do. I just, it's nice because I've got the people I trust the most in my stream, which is really good. Really, really good. Really lovely to have you all here, I have to say. And thank you for trusting me. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And I think that's another thing to talk about. Oh, yeah. Like, it's really good. It's nice to have trustworthy friends. It really is. It really is. Me and Andy, share a lot of secrets, actually, that we keep very close to our chest, as it were. So yeah, it's really good. I know I can trust Andy with my secrets as well. So it's really good. Yeah, it's really nice, Thank you. I just feel so happy right now. Like, I'm like really happy. I think that's it. Like, when you have trust as well, you feel better inside yourself, like that people trust you. It's really, really nice. And I think, sometimes as kids, some kids aren't given any respect, are they? And they're not, not given enough respect, and they're not given enough trust sometimes, kids. And that can, I think it's hurtful if you are a trustworthy people and people don't trust you. I think that's very hurtful. Yeah, people who are not trustworthy are trusted because they say the things that people want to hear. I don't tell people. I mean, obviously I tell people stuff, but I really, I do say things that people are going to want to hear because I like saying nice things and people are nice. Like, these people in my stream are amazing. I love you all dearly. I told you deep things about me. Yes, you did, Ray. Yes, you did. And so, I just really appreciate all this trust. It's really nice. I'm speechless tonight. I don't know what to say. I'm just so happy. I just think it's amazing. I have to say that I'm so happy now. Like I was quite depressed throughout a lot of my years when I was a kid, birth certificate aged kid, and I didn't really have true friends like the ones that are in my live chat now, and I didn't really have like I have a lot of friendship love in this stream, don't I? Which is really amazing. Like I kind of didn't think I'd get that. Like I'm getting a bit emotional now. Like I never thought I'd have that. Like it's really nice. I'm not used to it, to be honest, but it's really lovely. I mean, I'm getting used to it. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but it's very, very different to my former life, but I have left that life behind now, which is really good. Oh yes, Ray won the archery today. Won first prize. Congratulations to Ray. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You did really well, Ray. I'm so proud of you. Really, really well. Ray's amazing at archery. I do actually like archery, but because I got fibromyalgia, it's not very easy for me to do that. That's why I only have a few select friends. I have only made great friends since I started going to your meetups. Oh, thank you, Sam. Thank you. Yeah, I think real true friends you can count on like one or two hands, can't you? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many people in the world that are like connected on Facebook and stuff. But you know what I mean? They're not really your true friends, a lot of them. Some of them are, because obviously I'm connected to you on Facebook, all the people in my streams. But I'm saying it's kind of hard to get real true friends, and I just really, really happy that everyone's in the stream who's shown me a lot of trust and love tonight. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate all your trust in me, and I do trust the people in the stream a lot. Which is very unusual for me because I didn't used to trust many people years ago. Like I found it really, really, really difficult, because I think sadly a lot of people aren't their true authentic self. They worry too much about what other people think of them. They change what they say to the people around them. They'll say one thing to one person, another thing to another. I mean, I was able to trust Ray quite quickly because Ray's in yeah, we're best friends forever, Sam. I love that. I'm so happy. Thank you. It's really good. We are best friends forever. I know that. I'm solid as a rock with you, which is really good. I haven't had that before. Being really solid like that, like really solid, solid, solid. Do you know what I mean? Because we're very similar on a lot of things as well, which really helps. Do you know what I mean? Like I've got my female best friend, but she's very different to me in some ways. Like some ways we're alike, but other ways we're very, very, very different people. Obviously, she's not asexual for a start. And so me and you, Sam, we're quite similar in our outlooks and relationships, and obviously minus the kissing thing. Because that's why I get on great with you, because you don't play games and put on a fake persona. Thank you, Sam. No, I don't play games and I don't put on a fake persona. What you see is literally what you get. Like you put me in any social situation, work situation, or you see me now and I'm the same. I talk the same. I do the same stuff. I speak the same. I talk about the same things. And many people, that's is what parents should be teaching their kids, trust. Yeah, they should be teaching their kids trust. I mean, I did used to trust my parents a lot when I was young. I did actually. My parents, I've always used to feel safe with my parents growing up in that way, as in like I had a roof over my head and I felt secure in that way with them. I don't talk too much about my parents on this channel because I think it's private stuff, isn't it? But I did trust my parents to, like, do you know what I mean? I did trust them a lot. I still do trust them a lot. Just they're very different to me on some things. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, they're very different. Like I'm extrovert, they're introvert. I'm active, they're passive some of the time. But they do support me in my asexuality, I have to admit. They do support me liking a younger guy, so that's all good. Not me, laugh aloud. I keep running away from mine. Oh yeah. I know you told me your parents have been really bad to you. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good, you know. Like, I don't say too much about my parents on this channel because I don't think it's right. My dad watches this channel. I swear. He watches it all the time, which is quite ironic considering he's not asexual. But yeah, he likes to keep his eye on me, as it were. Like, as an adult, I can't keep an eye on myself. Do you know what I mean? But yes, he chooses to keep an eye on me by watching my videos on here, which talk about really personal, intimate stuff sometimes. Which is a bit weird, your dad watching. But hey, my dad's watching. But yeah, so I try, you know. Hi, Sandra's dad. Yeah. I try to keep, you know, I don't post any pictures of my parents on social media or anything like that. I'm actually very private about my parents because I don't think it's right, you know. I'm not friends with my dad on Facebook either because I just, you know, I like to keep it separate. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love my parents dearly, but I like to keep something separate. Do you know what I mean? My dad goes and looks at my Facebook anyway because it's on public, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so I remember, like, you know, like, feeling secure in the sense that I was taken care of. Hi, Sandra's dad, if you're watching. She's changed my life and we are all so proud of her. Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much. That's really, really, really lovely. Thank you so much. Oh, I always feel like this video's just gone from, like, being a bit, like, sad in the beginning, like, and yours too. Thank you, Sam, to being really happy now. Do you know what I mean? I just feel so grateful and thankful for you all in my life. I don't know what to say. I'm just overwhelmed with. I feel very, you know, like you've got a lot of kindness you're putting my way. I just feel it's really sweet. Honestly, I feel really happy. I can't describe it. It's a bit euphoric. You know, it's a bit like kissing, but I'm not kissing anyone, but it's just like that euphoric feeling that feels really good that I get from kissing. Not everyone does. You know what I mean? It just feels wonderful without any kissing being involved. But it just feels really, really nice. I have to say, like, I just, like, feel so good. I feel like this video's just gone from, like, talking about a really serious, heartbreaking subject to really being positive and upbeat, which is nice, really. Do you know what I mean? It just goes to prove that it doesn't matter what happens when you're a child, you can turn your life around. And I do think that's really important because I think all of you have turned your life around that are on this chat right now. You know, Sam's definitely turned their life around. Andy's really turned their life around. And Ray, I didn't know you before, but I know just from what you've told me, you've already turned your life around. I mean, you've got so much talents and gifts. Do you know what I mean? So I think everyone in this chat's just turned their life around. So it just goes to prove that it doesn't matter what type of childhood you had, if it's not great or if you got depressed or, you know, that you can still change your life. You can still make it better. You can still adapt and grow yourself. And I think that's the best type of change, really, because you make it happen for you rather than happening to you. That's what I learned a long time ago. That, you know, it's much better to change your life yourself, take active control over it, than it is someone have it doing for you. My fault I started it laugh out loud. Oh no, it's lovely. But you know, it's just really important that people know they can change their life around, and obviously it's evident. I mean, I know you all personally, so I know how your life's changed, which the viewers don't all know. But believe me, they've all changed their life around. Do you know what I mean? All changed their life around. And it just goes to show you that no matter how hard a childhood you have, how upsetting times might have been, how difficult some stuff might have been, how much you struggled, and even if you were told off as a child and told not to be yourself and made to feel like you shouldn't be who you are, you know, you can change all that, because when you are living in an adult world, whether you class yourself as an adult or a big kid like me, you can still take control of your life and change it around for the better. And you have to make a conscious decision to do that. Like, when you're a child, your parents are kind of making decisions for you, and your life shaped by parents, teachers, people at your school who may or may not be nice to you. If you're bullied, it's really difficult, and you kind of feel trapped. Do you know what I mean? And you've not got so much leeway. But when you do leave all that behind, you can take control of your life, and you have to, really, and you have to think, like, what can I do for me to make my life better now? How can I change it so I don't live in that past, so I actually have a better future for myself? And all the stuff that you hated back then, you can turn it around and change it as much as possible so that you love your life again. You, in fact, you like do the opposite. In a way, you kind of reverse engineer it. So you look at all the stuff that you didn't like in the past and you change into the opposite, so you've got the better version of you now. Do you see what I mean? I left all the dating groups. I'm only in asexual now. Oh, Ray, that's good. I'm still in the sexual dating groups. I don't know what for half the time. It's absolutely ridiculous being in them. It is a bit of a waste of time, to be honest. Get off the path that has been laid out for you and make your own path. Exactly, Sam. It's so true. I think that's good for you, Ray, because a lot of those women in the sexual dating groups, they were all, after sex, weren't they? But I'm still staying in them for now. I've joined another one recently. I thought I joined it already, but it seems like I've got accepted. Because I kind of want to do some stuff where I feed back on this channel what the reactions are. I think it's good for me to do that. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of asexuals that feel they have to be on sexual dating groups and sexual dating sites. But I believe my asexual soulmate is Indian, and I believe he's asexual. So, but you never know, he might be lurking in a sexual group. It is possible. I don't know why he would be, but well, if he doesn't know he's asexual, he might be. But it's like I did get another message going, "Hello, beautiful, kiss, kiss," from one of the dating groups, and I just didn't want to hear from him. I went through his friends list; it was nearly all women. And when a guy's got nearly all women like that, and they're in dating groups, it usually means they're just after loads of women. And he wasn't very good looking anyway. I'm like, no, I'm not bothering with him. I don't want to hear from him. Delete your message. But yeah, I mean, being in sexual groups is a bit of a nightmare. One last night was trying to get £900 out of me, so I left. Good, Ray, you don't need that in your life. God, I never, ever give guys money. I don't do it. Not even, I have only ever in my life once given money to one person, which I never usually do, which was in person. And then they just wanted more from me, and I just don't do it. I got the rule, I don't give money to people. It is what it is. I just don't do it. I don't do it online or anywhere. Obviously I give some to charity now and again. Glad you got out in that case, Ray. Yeah, it's really important. I mean, there's not really much point in being in them, and you know what I mean. You're like me. You don't want sex. There's not really much point. But it's because I do this channel. I know there's a lot of people that are asexual that go on sexual dating sites, and it's kind of good for me to look at it from their perspective and be amongst all the sexuals. Plus, it's kind of nice sometimes you get loads of responses and you think, at least someone responds. Whereas in a sexual dating group, asexual dating group, not many people respond as much. But I've made some really good asexual friends. I did learn one thing. I have to tell you, there's this one guy who is in one of the sexual dating groups on Facebook, and I did video chat with him one night, and he has like this disability, and he's deaf, and I learned this down the face, and that means good night. So I actually learned one bit of sign language. I thought, oh, that was nice. So yeah, good night, he said to me. He wanted to teach me all the sign language, but you know what I mean? If he's not the right guy for me, there's no point in spending loads of time trying to learn sign language. Because he had a pint of beer next to him, which was a huge pint, by his bed. I don't want a guy who's drinking like that. Do you know what I mean? I prefer a guy who doesn't drink any alcohol, to be honest. But, if a guy has got, he's literally living with alcohol at his bedside table, drinking it like it's water, I don't want a guy like that. We had nothing in common. He started talking about more countryside stuff, and I'm like, we don't have anything in common. He goes, I do hope we'll video chat again. And part of me wanted to, because he is a good looking guy, but it's like, he's sexual, he's not asexual. Do you know what I mean? He was clearly sexual, and I had nothing in common with him, so I'm like, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? Some of them got angry. I kept telling the woman to cover up. That's funny, Ray. I mean, a lot of them in the sexual dating groups, I mean, literally, they're just getting their boobs out. I don't know. They can't be wanting a serious relationship when they dress like that. Seriously, they just obviously must want a bit of fun. Because how would you ever have a serious relationship with someone that's just staring at a pair of boobs? Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like, where is the person? Is it you or is it your boobs I'm talking to? Do you know what I mean? I just don't. But a lot of them are in there. But a lot of the guys, they got their tops off, and a lot of the guys are older in the groups as well. And it's like, I'm not interested. And the younger ones, they all drink alcohol. They've all down the pub with beer. It's not the lifestyle I want. I don't want to be down the pub with beer. It bores me as anything. You know what I mean? I'd rather go out to the cinema, zoos, aquariums, theme parks, hang upside down on a roller coaster. Thanks very much. Do you know what I mean? We're going out dancing, not sat in a pub just drinking. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of older people like that, but I don't want to do that. It's not good for me. It's boring. You know, I will go to pubs to have drinks and food. Obviously, when I'm out with my asexual friends, it's different. I know I wasn't thinking about being out with my asexual friends. I was thinking about being around sexuals, which I have been, because, like, you know, I have friends that go out, you know, like non-asexual friends that go out in pubs and stuff. But when my experience of being out in pubs with sexual friends, is I get older guys coming on to me, right? Older guys fancying me. Half of them are pissed, excuse my language. They just work and they go to the, or don't work, and they just go to the pub and get pissed. And they're just older and they're not attractive, and they're just like, I don't want to live that life where they're going to work or whatever, and they just go to the pub and get pissed. It's not my idea of a life or relationship. Do you know what I mean? I hate when I see old men going after young girls in their teens. Well, yeah, Ray. I mean, I've had older guys that I've seen go after younger women. You know, I mean, I can't say too much because I'm an older girl that likes being with younger guys. But you know what I mean? I do. Like you said, in their teens, it's disgusting. I mean, especially if they're underage, it's horrible. You know what I mean? It's really horrible. I mean, I do have 17, 18-year-olds get attracted to me, you know, and that's really weird for me because it's like you're still a bit young, to be honest. I prefer 21 and up, really. I prefer guys in their 20s. I mean, 17, 18, it's like you just come out of teenage years. It's a bit like you're still a kid, really. I don't want to say that and offend someone, but it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it is a bit young, but I definitely would never be with someone underage or anything like that. It's disgusting. I really want a guy in his 23 would be nice upwards, to be honest. 23, 24, 25, maybe. Even a bit older if he looked younger. Do you know what I mean? Like 27, 28. 28's okay. But yeah, it's not nice. I mean, there was an older guy who was a friend of my friends, and he was with this younger girl, but you know, not in her teens. She wasn't in her teens, but I just hated it. I don't like. It's really weird because I can't really talk because I'm a girl that likes younger guys, much younger guys. But for me, it seems, because I don't like older guys, when I see older guys with young girls, it makes me feel, not all the time, but a lot of the time, it makes me feel like that's kind of wrong. But then I feel like it's okay for me to be with a younger guy, which, you know, it's only because, I mean, in reality, it's okay for, so long as everything's legal, for an older guy to be with a younger girl and a young girl to be with an older guy to be with a younger girl and an older girl to be with a younger guy. Do you know what I mean? It's fine as long as everything's legal, consensual, and everyone's happy in the relationship, in an actual relationship. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's okay. I wouldn't go for teens. You know what I mean? Like, underage people is just ridiculous. It shouldn't be allowed. You know what I mean? Like, I had someone who's 18 when I was 15 try and do stuff to me that I didn't want to happen, and fortunately stopped the person. But you know, I mean, I'm not interested in sex for a start, you know, so it's kind of like guys are a bit safer with me anyway. Do you know what I mean? I'm not after having sex with them, but even so, I still want a guy, you know, even if when I'm close kissing, it can still be sexual in behavior. I think we should be with someone who's like 23 upwards or whatever, really, or at least 21 upwards for that type of behavior, to be honest with you. But you know, teenagers have that type of behavior. But do you know what I mean? I don't think it's good, old men going after young girls in their teens. I think that's good. But I mean, you know, but I do think it's okay for an older guy to be with a younger girl, or older girl to be with a younger guy, if everything's consensual and everything that. But I mean, there's still a lot of stigma about an older girl being with a younger guy. there's lots of older guys with younger girls and no one bats an eyelid most of the time. Yeah, if it's a older woman with a younger guy, some people just don't get it. And it's like, why? Doesn't matter, does it? You know, like I am, especially as I'm asexual, I don't even want sex. There's loads of women, you know, I've thought about going on cougar dating sites, but I'm nothing like those older women. Those older women actually look like older women. You can tell the difference. They look so much older. They want to be older. It's like the guys like the older one. And the thing that's difficult with me is some guys do like older women and they like the older woman to be an older woman, but I'm not an older woman. So I might be older in birth certificate age, but actually I'm a lot younger in my outlook, in my mindset, and my lifestyle than a guy who's in his early 20s, for example. Some of them are like, they like older music, they like an older lifestyle. I even had a guy in his 20s, he was on ASAP. I think he was 26, I'm not sure. But he said, even though I'm in my 20s, you are too energetic for me. He actually told me that in a message because I was talking about you looking for a relationship with friends. He goes, well, I am looking for a relationship, but you would be, because just talking to me, he said, you'd be too energetic for me. It might have been 25 actually. So, but he told me, goes, excuse me. Oh, sorry, I don't burp usually. Burping on live stream. What is wrong with me? It's probably because I need water because I'm getting dehydrated here. That is disgusting. Burping. I don't, mind you, it is natural. I don't think I've ever done that on my channel. That's quite funny. But yeah, I don't think it's good when older men go after younger teens, especially because a lot of them are after sex as well, which is pretty disgusting. But I think it's really good if there's an age gap and it's true love and everything's happy and consensual and everything, like, and obviously not in their teens. But there's I've got a friend who's 58 years old. I'm at 55 and I behave like I'm in my 20s. It's probably why I get on so well with you, Ray. But yeah, but I think some of the clothes you wear, Ray, some of them are really young, but some of them are older. Do you know what I mean? So do you know what I mean? Like when I saw you in your archery gear today, you look younger, but when I see you in your brown dressing gown, you look much older. You probably haven't noticed that. I do. I noticed quite a lot about these things. What was I was completely going off on tangent again. What was I saying? I can't even remember now. I can't even remember. But yeah, oh yeah, so there's a guy who I've got as a friend, asexual friend, he's 58 and he got engaged to his girlfriend, asexual girlfriend who's 22. She's just gone to 23 now, she's turned 23. So they're engaged and there's a huge, obviously, gap between 58 and 22. So I mean, it's like 36 years, well, 35 now. That's right, isn't it? 55 minus 22 leaves 33. And she's just gone to 23 now. 33, did I say that? 58, sorry, he's 58. I was thinking of Ray's age. He's 58 and she is 22 when they got engaged. That's 36 years difference and she's just become 23. 35 years difference, isn't it? My maths correct? I'm not great at maths. Sam, you're the maths expert. Have I worked that out right? 58 minus 22 is 36. But 35 now because she's a year older. I hope that's right. Yes, my maths is correct. So yeah, thank you. It's like, where's the maths expert? I'm not good at maths. It's not my strong point. But yeah, so, and they're very happy together. They're very, very much in love. And so, you know, I'm 55, not 58. Exactly. Ray, you're 55. He's 58. But I think I said 55 originally for him when he's 58. And she's 22, but she's just had her 23rd birthday. But they got engaged when she was 22 and he's 58. But, you know, so that's like a 35-year age gap. But, you know, they're totally in love. I mean, when he was with me, when I saw him as a friend, you know, he's constantly texting her. Like, she's his world and life. And they're so happy. Whenever I see them in pictures together, they're so happy. So, you know, just because there's an age gap doesn't mean to say that it can't work out. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think people should be shut off to age gap. Like, there's bound to be some asexual guys that do like an older girl. There is, actually. I've met quite a few of them. But there's none been brave or strong enough to actually be in a relationship with me yet. Do you know what I mean? Even though they're younger, I need a really strong young guy who knows what he wants in his life and is adamant it's me, and do you know what I mean, and doesn't care what people think. It's no good if I have a wallflower, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't work. So yeah, I think it's really important to get the right person for a relationship. I do believe there's someone for everyone. I just honestly 100% believe he's Indian. The guy I'm meant to be with is Indian. I keep going back to the same thing. This guy is Indian. He's got to be, because it's the only person that I can really, type of person that I can get physically close to. I can't seem to do it. Obviously, I did get quite close. Well, obviously, I had a British boyfriend this year, so I guess there are exceptions to the rule, because I was physically close to him, kissing him. But I still prefer an Indian guy. I really would. But anyway, I think I've been on this video for quite a long time now. This live stream's been like over an hour and 20 minutes just over, but I've absolutely loved every minute of it. And I want to wrap up by saying, do you know what I mean? Like, there is proof in this live stream that people can change their life around. That whatever happened to you in your childhood, you may not be able to, obviously, like, you can't change the past, but you can change your present right now. This is epic. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. And I just want you to know that it is okay to cry. It is okay for you to be emotional. And even if you have been told as a child that it's not okay, you've been shut down or told off for crying and told to shut up and pull up, that's not the type of life you're born to lead. You should be proud of who you are. You should speak your mind and speak your truth and be your authentic self. Does that mean to say everyone's going to like you? Nope. Not everyone's going to like you, because when you're your true authentic self, you're not going around trying to people please everyone all the time. There'll be situations and times when people don't like you, when people don't agree with you, when people don't want to be around you. But those aren't your people. Do you know what I mean? It just highlights the people that your people, your tribe, the people that really matter to you, which are people in the stream. And great to see you so happy. Everyone can change their life for the better. Exactly, Andy. Everyone can change their life for the better forever. And it's just really, really important that whatever you went through in your childhood, it's wrong for people to tell you that you can't cry. You're not the one in the wrong, but you were made to feel like you were wrong when you were younger. Made to feel like you should shut up and if your life wasn't worth it and you shouldn't be crying and it's bad, that's the wrong teaching. You should have been taught to go with your emotions, to embrace them, to look deep within them, to care. You should have had a person saying by your side that I love you for who you are. And your emotions make you stronger because they make you emotionally connect with people in a unique way that other people aren't do. Emotional people who are not emotional, unempathetic people, so people who have no empathy or sympathy, they can't emotionally connect with people because they lack those qualities. So if you can express your emotions and cry and laugh and be excitable and have all these different range of emotions, it's actually very, very good. It means it can help improve your communication skills. It can help create deeper, meaningful friendships as well as a relationship. It can help enhance your life. It can help in times of crisis as well. Like, okay, you could argue that, a person who's really empathetic or emotional might not be able to deal with a crisis. And in some ways, maybe they do have difficulties sometimes, some people. But in other ways, they're very good in a crisis because they can intuitively know to put their arm around someone or hug someone when the time is bad. They can intuitively know just to, without even touching that person, to just talk to them, look at them in the eyes and say, I care, I understand you. You're okay, you're going to be fine. You're all right. Life is going to be fantastic for you. It's really important that you have these emotional qualities and can embrace them. I think it's quite sad when people can't have emotions and they keep them locked up. It's like they're in a completely different world. That's the world that people sometimes are taught is the right one, but it's not the right one. The right one is to express your emotions and to learn how to control, but also express your emotions in a good way. Like, it's good to have a certain amount of control over some emotions. Like in situations, like you don't want to be crying for weeks on end. Having said that, though, it's like when I was depressed, it was much better for me to cry and let it out than it was for me to take pills. I don't agree personally for taking tablets. I never have done. So I would sit there and cry for hours, for days on end sometimes, which isn't a healthy life to be. But I would rather cry than, I've always been the type of person that would rather cry than suppress emotions, because I don't think suppressing emotions helps. And that's what a lot of these medications do. They're designed to suppress and repress your emotions to stop you crying. But the pain doesn't go away. The problem doesn't go away just by the medication. It just stops and calms you down from being emotional and upset. But it still doesn't solve the problem. So personally, I'd rather let her cry out. But luckily, my life's so much better now. Doesn't mean to say that I don't need to cry. Sometimes there might be something that really upsets me. And then sometimes I might spend quite a while crying consciously. I'll be like, I need to cry now. You know, it's good for me. I haven't cried in a while. I need to cry because this thing has really upset me. It's thrown me off balance. It's been a difficult time for me. You know, like sometimes, like life is, you know, like I love life in general. I think it's amazing. I didn't used to feel this way, but I love life now. There are times when I do get a bit overwhelmed, you know, and I do get like, I kind of like, I shouldn't, but sometimes my mind focuses a bit more on less positive stuff, and it does focus on a bit more negative stuff when I'm stressed, when I'm overwhelmed, and it kind of like all hones in at once. And then I feel like a little bit, you know, I need to cry for a bit. But it's good because it lets all that negativity out of your body, and therefore you're able to recuperate quicker and become much more happier quicker, and get back on an even keel and get back on a happier high of life. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you suppress the emotion, you keep it bottled up, you're always keeping it contained, you've always got it within you, and it's always there ready to pop out, and it always encourages depression. So you don't want to feed depression. Depression lives off anxiety, worry, fear, upset, and pain. By letting emotions out, you don't feed the anxiety and the depression as much. By letting emotions out, particularly to do with depression, by letting the emotions out, you're not feeding the depression as much, because letting them out. But you have to start thinking positively. Like, you have to literally snap yourself into positivity and start doing things that make you happy. So whatever state you're in, you have to change your state. So if you're in a really depressed, miserable, unhappy state, you have to physically go and do something else. Go and do whatever. Go and jump up and down to music. Go and take a walk. Go and write in a diary or journal. Go and speak to a friend. Go and have a hot shower. Go and do something different. Go and break the pattern, break the record like that. Because it's only when you do stuff like that and get out of the state you're in that you can change your state and get over the state you're in. Do you see what I mean? I like to make people feel good about themselves. You do. You're a good person, Ray. Thank you, Sam. You are a good person, Ray. It's good. And there's one benefit of being in those sexual groups. I did meet Ray. I wouldn't have met Ray if I'd not gone in those sexual dating groups. Do you see what I mean? It was meant to be, you know? Because I just had this brainwave, I'll just go and apply to sexual dating groups because I'll see what happens in it. And if nothing else, there'll be some sexuals that actually become aware of asexuality, which is a really good thing. Especially on Facebook, because they tend to take a lot of notice of my posts, because obviously you've got a lot of people that have a go at me or can't believe someone lived without sex, right? It gets a lot of hits on the post. So people are constantly seeing this word asexual, even if they don't believe it. Do you know what I mean? That my posts are one of the most popular posts in the whole of the sexual group, which is very ironic considering I don't want sex. But it's because, you know, people like, even people on this channel that sometimes come on and they start like, you know, anyone that gives me a thumbs down sometimes, which is bound to happen sometimes, anyone who trolls this channel, which they do sometimes, you know, and just give me thumbs down on purpose, you know, they actually help get this channel still ranked up in search engines, because it's still activity on the channel. So thanks to all the people that give me thumbs down, as well as people that gives me thumbs up, because that actually just helps this channel. That's not what they want to do. They want to do the opposite, but actually it boosts it up. It's like, so if you've got a post like in the sexual group and they're heavily criticizing you all the time, or some of them are criticizing, then other people are fighting back on your behalf, which is amazing. You've constantly got your post being featured at the top in their feed in the group. It stays at the top, so more and more people can see it as a snowball effect. So even the haters in there are actually helping my post to get visibility, which they don't even realize. And I'm like, carry on. If you want to carry on, just carry on, because it just means that I don't answer people usually who are rude or horrible. I just give thumbs up to the people that say nice comments about me, like I look pretty, you look gorgeous, you look nice, hi, nice to meet you, that type of thing. Hope you're having a good day. And the people that like have a go, a lot of them, sometimes I respond, majority of the time I don't. And I'm Indian, laugh loud. I know, Ray. That's probably why I get on well with you as well, because I do it's like really weird. Wherever I go, if I'm upset or any pain in my life, there's usually always an Indian guy nearby. It's really bizarre. Like when I said I was going to wrap up, didn't I? It's a long wrap up. When I was dating the heterosexual guy for 2 months, the one that ended up with a blade, which wasn't very good. And I was really, really upset because I didn't know he had it on him in the club and they confiscated it. I don't think Ray's heard about that, and he was dangerous to be around. When I was in the car, really, really upset, crying, not talking to the guy in the car, I got back to the hotel. There was this guy that looked Indian, and he was at the desk and gave me a cookie. I can't eat the cookies, but he was just really nice to me. And I was like so relieved that he was. I don't even know if he was Indian. He just looked Indian. I think he was. But then there was another guy as well that I think was Indian as well, which was one of the chefs there in the morning. And I'm like, thank God, I like kind of like, and sometimes when I think about going away from Indian guys, like I'm like, all right, try different guys out, think about being with someone else. An Indian guy tends to pop back up again, like in a message on ASAP or message on Asexuality or somewhere. An Indian guy's usually there again. And it's like, it always keeps leading me back to the same thing, that I'm meant to be with an Indian guy. I just believe I'm meant to be with an Indian guy. I can't describe it. I've never had an Indian boyfriend, but I have kissed an Indian guy now. Whoop, 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 whoop. I think it's good. I'm getting some experience with Indian guys at the moment, because I think maybe that's what you need, Sandra. Do some kissing, see what it's like, see if you actually like them as much in person as in your mind, which is true. I do. So I think it's really good. I think you have to experiment somewhat in your life sometimes, within safety, within your comfortability, and also sometimes in life you have to get a little bit uncomfortable, but it has to be uncomfortability that you're in agreement with and want to do and push yourself to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking about doing sexual stuff that you really don't want to do. I'm talking about like how can I put it? Like you've got to like try, like for me to kiss like that for a long period of time outside of a relationship, I had to make the conscious decision that I was going to do that before it happened. So then I've given myself permission. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, you have my permission, Sandra, to be able to do that outside of a relationship. I wouldn't give myself permission. I mean, I have kissed people outside of a relationship before, usually when dating, but not like for a long time. Well, I did when I was dating, but I wasn't dating this guy, was I, in the club? It wasn't a date. It was just I met him that night. So it's different, because he's not saying I want a relationship with you. So it was like kissing someone who I'll probably never have a relationship with in my life, just kissing him in the moment. So that was kind of weird, but I'd already worked out before I see how that happened. I'd already worked out before I went out that night, that if the opportunity came along where a guy who was in his 20s, who is preferably Indian, that I would allow myself to do that. And in the same night that happened, that's very intuitive. It's very consciously following your conscious path, following your own intuition path. Do you see what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've thought before about going, like, a time before when I'll just go. And now I met that Indian guy for the second time who I danced with before, so it's kind of like I intuitively know stuff before it's happened, and I can like create my own destiny. And I believe everyone has this power within them to create their own destiny. And I think a lot of people, if you tune into your intuition, your gut feeling, and your mind intuition, it can work wonders. I know it works really well for me. Like my intuition, like when I follow it, I'm on the intuition path. I'm at one with my soul. I'm happy, even though, like at the moment, I've got like about 6 or 7 different projects on the go. Right, things I've got to get finished, and I know I'm working through them one by one. I've got my asexual meetup mastery course I'm doing at the moment. I didn't really get any of that done today, because I've been out most of the day doing stuff, seeing my friend, which I was like last minute thing yesterday, because I'm not going to see her now and till next year probably. She's going to be trying a new job soon. And there was another person I met, and I had to get hay for my guinea pig, and lots of stuff, and I've been working on a bit of other stuff tonight since I've been back for my Ace Fiber Girl book, Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. And so I've been doing some prep for that. I haven't really been able to do, but I know tomorrow I'm going back to the asexual meetup mastery course. I'm doing that tomorrow. So yeah, and then I've got my Asexual Guide to Sex. I still need to do some of that, and I've got some other things that I really want to get finished before Christmas. But it's you know what I mean. It's about months to go, so I've got to be careful I don't put too much pressure on myself because I'll get overwhelmed and ill again. So I kind of have to balance it and think, just do one thing at a time, get it finished, get it done. And then and in life sometimes you have to give yourself like little goals when you change your life. Sometimes you have to give yourself like little goals and then finish that, and then another little goal, and then finish that, and another little goal. And sometimes when you get out of your comfort zone, you have to just try one thing at a time, like and another thing and another thing, and build on and build on. Sometimes if you try and do too much at once, it just becomes too much because you don't know who you are anymore. You've got to be very careful of that. Like, you've got to get your new identity, because it's important that we grow ourselves as people and that we take on a new version of ourselves, like the upgraded version of ourselves. But sometimes, like in changing everything, you can actually lose yourself, if you know what I mean. You can be like, who am I again? Because I've just changed so much at one time. So you got to be very careful that when you're changing a lot of stuff, you've still got something that grounds you in who you are. People don't really talk about this in personal development stuff. It's not something that's talked about. It's not something that's really known, because they talk a lot about changing yourself, growth, and upgrading yourself. But especially if you have anxiety, what's very, very important is that you have something that does ground you as to the original person you are, that's good for you. So like me watching movies lately, superhero movies, that's something that's very core to my being and soul, and really boosts my energy levels and really makes me feel good about myself. And it gives me energy boost to do more work. It's very productive. Like, it's counterproductive when I don't do things, and that kind of nourishes my inner child. So long as my inner child's nourished, it's fine. It's like, Sandra, the next day you can do work all the hours you want, because at the moment my child's happy. My inner child's being fine. It's being nourished. You're paying attention to it. It's like being the child, but you'll end up being your parent to yourself. So as an adult, you still have a child within you, and you don't have. You do have parents. I'm fortunate to have my parents still, love my parents to bits. Touch wood, they're around for a long time. I'm superstitious a bit. And so, I adore my parents, but, like, as an adult, you still have to parent yourself. And so you have to, like, consciously tell yourself what you can and can't do, if you know what I mean, and what's right for you, what's wrong for you, and you have to work it all out yourself. But when you're changing your life, upgrading yourself, it's very good to still nourish your inner child, and you don't want it to stop you progressing and say, oh, I want to be this old version of me all the time, because yourself will battle with yourself saying, I want to be this person, this is a new person. But at the same time, I think, especially when you've got anxiety, you have to have some sort of core to go back to, sometimes, like some things that you recognize. Because if you try and change everything at once, you can get to a stage where I don't recognize who I am anymore. And it's very similar if you've ever had a situation where everything's happened at once. You've moved house, you've changed partners, you've changed jobs, you've got new friends, for example. If that happened in your life, like, everything's changed at once, like, who are you anymore? And in the past, I lost myself in relationships. I didn't know who I was anymore. Like, I wasn't me. And I don't want that to happen again. But I do have to change. You have to make a conscious decision to change your life. But you've just got to make sure you've still got some core foundation of who you are as you know it in this time and space, rather than changing everything and you don't know who you are, because it'll feel like you've got the rug pulled from under your own feet and you're kind of falling flat on your face. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really important. Like, if you're not, like, my inner child needs to be nourished. So long as my inner child's nourished, I'm good to go on the other stuff. But if it's not being nourished, I feel like inside's me lacking, and then it makes me less productive. It's like, well, why should I do any work for you if you're not helping me play? I need my playtime. It's very weird. I have a very distinct inner child in me that's constantly, subconsciously telling me stuff. And I'm consciously aware of my subconscious, whereas most people aren't. And when I got ill recently, I lost my voice. I was aware up till that point that my inner child needed to be nourished. It's like, I want to go to the cinema. I want to go out dancing. You're not listening to me. And obviously, when I was ill with a respiratory infection, I had to make myself rest for a week. And I did watched a lot of, movies. So it was really enjoyable. And, the inner child was nourished once again, and then it helps me to get better. Do you see what I mean? So with me, it's kind of like I always need to nourish my inner child, and if I'm not nourishing my inner child, my adult can't. It's like my adult side is not as predominant as my child side. So therefore my child needs to be nourished first before my adult can get on with their work. It's a bit weird. But a lot of people aren't consciously aware of all this stuff. And a lot of people are like, oh, you need to what they call, I don't know much about the monkey mind. I haven't really learnt much about that, but it's when the monkey's telling you to do 55,000 things at once, I think, and it's trying to take you away from being productive. But I've actually found that unless I nourish my inner child, I become unproductive or counterproductive, because my being just won't let me do stuff. It's it just really procrastinates. Whereas if I've the day before yesterday, I had a movie day, and yesterday I got so much work done because I allowed myself to chill out and rest the day before. I've actually found lately that if I'm keeping my stress levels to a minimum and I'm feeling really good and my stress is calmed down, I'm focusing one thing at a time, then I can get a lot more work done, a lot more productivity under my belt, and I can feel in control and less stressed, and that makes it healthier for me. And I can live in the moment and love life, and I can spend a bit of time resting as well, because I've been aware lately that my voice sometimes keeps going. Like yesterday it started going when I was talking to the pet shop on the phone to say I was going to collect the hay, and so I've got to be careful not to get ill again. So even as adults, we still need to nourish that inner child, especially if it wasn't taken care of when we were a kid in the proper manner. If we were spoken to badly, if we were told to shut up and put up, because as an adult, if we're not listening to that inner child, and we weren't listening to that child wasn't listened to as a child, then it's still being neglected. Do you see what I mean? You're neglecting it, not just your family or parents or teachers or peers or friends, or non-friends, you should say, enemies or whatever, people who bullied you. They're not listening, they're not caring about your inner child. It means as an adult, if you're still repeating that behavior that they did to you, it's going to play up. It's going to feel neglected still. It's going to feel, and some people may say, oh, that's bad because you're an adult now, blah, blah, blah. But it is what it is, I'm consciously aware of myself. I could just pretend oh, right, I'll just override my child all the time. I'm in control. I'm an adult, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't really work that way, because my subconscious is really at one with my inner child, and it literally will play up. And if I don't pay attention to it and just try and tell it, a bit like the adult, not listen to it, and just I'm the adult, you do what I say, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work for me. And so you have to in life kind of make your own rules in life, and you kind of have to bend life to your own reality. Do you know what I mean? And I do find it difficult when a lot of people who are in the entrepreneur space and that, they're all about obviously being productive, not procrastinating, all that lot. They use a lot of very adult conventional methods to do that, but it doesn't work with me. Some of it just doesn't work. I'm so quirky and unique. I find I have to have quirky methods to it's like if I watch a superhero movie, especially things like Iron Man, I feel like I'm being the robot that's rebooted up. When Iron Man needs a reboot and he's coming back to life, that's what I feel like after I've watched a movie, I've been rebooted. It's kind of like my brain is so young on purpose, but it naturally, my inner child's constantly talking to me all the time. It really is it's okay, you're a bit deflated at the moment, like a rubber ring. Now I've got to put this movie on, and that I get the strength of the superhero characters come through me. Then it's like they give me the burst of energy that I need. They change my state, my vibration, to one of really being a superpower. One of I can do anything. One of I can get through this. I can do this. And once I've watched a movie like that, I'm a powerhouse, if you saw behind the scenes on that video yesterday, of one video I did 12.42 minutes, it's got like over about 50 edits. Do you know what I mean? To sit there doing all this chop, 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 really like that. It's like a lot of work. That's just one video I did. That's the 5th one I did yesterday, you know? And so it takes a lot of concentration, focus, and brain power, and listening and chopping and that, you know. It's a good job I did radio. I did work experience in radio, real radio. I used to be a hospital radio presenter for years, and I learned some editing of tape, traditional tape for newsreels. And that editing, I'm kind of like taking those skills now and putting them into iMovie. It took me 6 months to learn iMovie. I'm not a natural learner either. So whereas some people, they just pick things up like that, it takes me ages to get stuff in my brain. And as an adult, I'm consciously aware, again, of my subconscious, that my brain doesn't function like some people's, right? It's slower to take things in. But once I've got the concept, right, I've got it, and it's like amazing. So it took me 6 months to learn iMovie. I couldn't get it till this 6 month. I couldn't understand. I had one-to-one lessons in the Apple shop in my city, and it was like I used my last one-to-one sessions, because I used to pay for one-to-one, a yearly subscription, but you can't do that anymore to get one-to-one tuition. And it was my last month, so last 6 months. I'm so glad I did it. And I found it so stressful. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't get it. I couldn't understand why there's videos there, which ones I'm supposed to edit, where everything is. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the layout, the function. I didn't understand it. It just was blowing my mind. I kept writing stuff down in Notepad, because if you write stuff down in a notepad, it sinks into your mind more. So it's a much better way for learning. Repetition, write it down. And so it took me 6 months to learn iMovie. But when I learned it, like on the last session, was teaching the instructor stuff that he didn't even know that iMovie did. It's like, I didn't know iMovie could do this. How did you do that? So I showed him, and it's like, I was a student teaching the teacher then. But 6 months, you know, people can understand this stuff in a few weeks. I can't. 6 months. But now I'm very proficient in it, you know. I don't know everything. There are some things I still don't quite know how to do. But if you put me in front and next to someone else now, I'd be classed probably as a pro at it, from the amount of like editing I can do, the chopping, the changing, the cut this, because I can position my like, it's not called a cursor, it's called something else, but position the bar, and you know, where you edit it. And what happens is I will let it go, and then I can just click the mouse, it'll go back to that place. And I bet people don't even know how to do that. So even though it goes on a bit, I can just click it quickly, and it will zap back to that place that I was thinking about editing it, and then I can snip it. And so it's, you know, I've learned a lot of stuff doing that. And I do actually, you know, like, it takes me a while to get into the video editing. I do, my work's on the floor. I do procrastinate, because it's kind of like getting into it. I know there's a lot of hard work, you know, I know it's a lot of involvement, a lot of edits, every bit, you know, because at the moment I'm working on over a 2-hour, 40-minute video to put into smaller videos. I've done 5 so far, and I've edited like just under 40 minutes of footage, right, into 5 videos. It's a lot of work, so I do procrastinate. It's kind of like a lot of energy, a lot of focus, and it's like, I know I've got a lot of work to do, but I have to get on and do it, you know. But once I'm in the flow of it and I'm doing it, I could just carry on doing it until, like, you know, until after a while you do get a headache, and you kind of like, you do get a bit tired and stuff, so you have to stop. Then there comes a point where you need to stop. But, you know, like, everything in life we learn can take us time, and we're all at different levels and abilities of learning. So I don't think anyone should beat themselves up for being a slower learner. But I'm slow and thorough. Once I take something in, I really take it in. But it's like, when I'm in jobs, sometimes I can't just learn stuff like that. It's like, I need to, like, even things that I'm taught, I usually need them like 3 times. But when I learned to be a teacher, because I got a teacher training qualification, you're supposed to teach people, tell people things 3 times for it to sink into their subconscious mind. That's what it is, repetition. And so even now when I speak to people, like, I don't think I'm as bad as I used to be, but quite a lot of the time I'll repeat myself, because I'm used to teaching that way, because it gets into the mind more. But it's like people's names, it takes me usually at least 3 times most of the time to remember someone's name. especially with my fibro. My fibro, the only thing that really affects me with fibro fog is people's names sometimes. Like I can have known someone for 3 or 4 years and my brain gives them an entirely different name. Out of nowhere, it just decides that's what they should be called because they look like that type of person. I'm like, okay, thanks, brain. But it's like lately as well, like over the last few months or year, I've been spilling water. Like I've been putting my water in my cup and it's been overflowing. And I'm like, because I didn't consciously switch my mind to you are pouring water, I was just doing it without thinking. It's like lately. So now I have to think, you're pouring water, you need to stop, you know? And I don't know if that's a fibro thing, a fibro fog thing, or it's just something that my brain doesn't quite switch on to. So, you know, sometimes I notice things in my brain that don't quite, you know, go as they should. I sometimes, you know, I know something, but I don't implement it then. I like still learn it again like 6 months time. I'll be, hang on, I already know this, why haven't I implemented it? But you've got to in life not beat yourself up over things. Like I live a very consciously aware life, as you can tell. I'm aware all the time of what I'm thinking, what I'm analysing, what I'm saying, what I'm doing. I'm always like, it doesn't mean to say I don't say things exactly without totally thinking, because like a lot of it I just speak off flowing. But I'm very consciously aware of myself all the time, of things I do, things I don't do, things that are not quite right. Like if my brain's not quite engaged, I'm aware that it's not quite engaged, you know, whereas some other people probably wouldn't even be aware of that. So I think like when you get to a deep connection with yourself, you can tune into yourself and you can understand yourself so much better. And you can, you know, it's to do with self-love as well. You have to accept yourself as you are, things that are weaknesses, things that are strengths. Like I've shared with you tonight just now, some of the things that people are like, God, that's not good. You're overflowing a mug, right, with water. Why are you doing that? And at the time, you know, my brain can start thinking, why are you doing that? It's like, because I'm not engaged, I'm not looking at what I'm doing. I'm just, you know, like my mind spaces out. And there's no point in beating myself up about that. It is what it is. So I've got to retrain my brain to do the opposite, to stop the water, right? So sometimes in life, what can ever, you know, things happen with your brain or whatever, or things don't happen like they should. And you just have to try and take back control of it, and try and find ways of reworking your brain, rewiring it, you know, for success. So I just have to like reverse engineer. I'm like, well, what do I need to do to get back into the right frame of mind to not be overflowing mugs of water? I need to engage my brain more when I'm pouring water. I need to be thinking. There needs to be a little gap at the top. I need to be consciously aware of when I'm pouring. I need to come back into the moment instead of being in my head. Do you see what I mean? So there's lots of things you can do. You retrain your brain, rewire your brain, you know, because the brain, you know, is your center basically, but you can retrain it. So, you know, I don't think people should beat themselves up about things. I don't think, you know, like, you know, I'm very consciously aware that I have some things that don't quite work exactly as they should in my brain at certain points in time. I don't know if other people, I'm guessing they don't even know this about themselves, but it's only because I monitor myself and I'm very clued up about myself. And then I'm like, oh, that's not great, but you need to work on that. You can just retrain your brain. You can sort that out. Or maybe there's some other issue going on. Maybe I'm so busy thinking about something else or preoccupied with something else. And it's like, what's the issue? And you can be your own best coach to yourself sometimes, you know? Like you can hire a coach, but the best coach you could ever be is if you train yourself to be coach yourself. So that means telling yourself, like, I'm doing a really good job here. I'm doing really well here. This is, I'm not doing so good on, but I can improve, but I'm doing good in the now, you know, like I'm very self-critical as well. Sometimes I catch myself going, oh, Sandra, you shouldn't be doing that, you know? And I'm like, hang on a minute, but I've done this, and this. It's good. Stop, you know, like you've got to be careful not to criticize yourself in life and to really praise yourself. And like I said, be your own best coach to yourself, get to know yourself really well. Like some people, like I'll tell some people some stuff and they'll be like, oh, well, that's because of blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I already know that because I'm consciously aware of myself. But just because you know something about yourself doesn't mean to say you can instantly change it. Doesn't mean to say you should or have to change it. And also, you know, just by saying something, like I know that usually when you're ill, a lot of the time it's to do with the mind not being healthy. You know, you've got negativity in there, you know, and that manifests in your body. I know that, but it doesn't mean to say I can stop that all the time. Doesn't mean to say that's the only factor in making me ill. Doesn't mean to say that, you know, that it's wrong. It just means like I know that, for example, if I'm not embracing my inner child, then it's going to play up. It's going to be like, well, I'm just going to be upset now with you, and also I can feel myself working less. Do you see what I mean? So I think you've just got to spend time in your life getting to know yourself and understand that even as an adult, you do have a child within you. When I was doing counselling at 17 years, but I did counselling 17 to 19 years of age and birth certificate age at college, and they were teaching me that everyone has a father, mother, and child within them, within like their mind. And so you have to use these at different times. Like the mother's like protecting yourself, the father's like the doer, the that active person, sort of the parental figure, and the kid is obviously the inner child, you know. And you've got to use these three in different ways in your life. Like the mother is kind of the protector, the healer, the wanting to look after the person, you know. Like I said, the father's more of the getting stuff done. The inner child that needs to be played with, it needs some playtime, doesn't want to be serious all the time, it needs some attention. Do you know what I mean? You're in a being. So you know, like I tend to use majority of time probably more the father and the kid, because I tend to not bring out the female side in me so much, I guess. But having said that, I have got natural protective and qualities and abilities that I care about people a lot, you know, so that does come out sometimes. But I don't think about being an adult woman very much. I prefer to be called girl than woman, which is kind of weird. But if I am with older guys, then I do call myself woman, because I need to talk on their level, and to be safe, I need them to know that I don't need to be pushed around. I know my own mind. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes there's certain instances I will use the word woman if I am talking to an older guy, or older, maybe not older, but older guy. I do call myself more woman then, especially in relationship possibility situations, dating. Do you know what I mean? So it depends on the situation. Anyway, just be you and love you for who you are. Get to know yourself, love yourself, and work on your weaknesses. Or if someone else has said they're your weakness and you don't think they are, don't change. Because just because someone else may think something's a weakness about you doesn't mean to say it is. It might just be that they don't like it, and they can lump it if it's not harming anyone, if it's actually good for you, if it's actually not a bad thing. Do you know what I mean? So just because some people might think, say to you, you're not good because you do this, that, and the other, ask yourself if that's the real truth. Ask yourself, you know, like, what do you really think about yourself, not what other people tell you? Do you know what I mean? If you like yourself, you're happy with yourself. It's like, I love talking. I love being bubbly and hyper. I'm not going to change and not be hyper in a relationship. Like, I can't be with a guy who doesn't appreciate my hyperness. There's a guy I met recently who's got nothing to do directly with me. They're to do with a friend of mine. And I could tell he wasn't used to my hyper personality. But that's not my problem. That's not my issue. I love my hyper personality. And I want that. I'll always have that. If I'm not hyper, it means I'm poorly and sick. I don't want to be poorly and sick. I love being hyper. I love being energetic. I love being vibrant. It makes me feel great. I'm in touch with who I am. I don't want to live a mundane, dull, boring life where I'm just like flat. It's not me. It's not who I am. I'm much happier being a hyper person. So I'm not going to change just because someone doesn't like that about me. I'm going to be that way because I love it and feel happy, and I've got to live with myself 365 days a year. Do you know what I mean? So if I'm not happy with myself, it doesn't matter what other people say. I would live I would be living a double miserable life. I'd be living in their misery, criticizing what they see about me as, that I shouldn't be. And I'd be hating myself for not being something I truly want to be and enjoy. So you've always got to, in life, always even all the childhood stuff, you've got to take it and say, what can I change about my future now? What can I change about my present to change my future? What can I change now in the moment, not just think about the future? And use the past as a reflection tool for what you'd like to change going forward to make better in your life now and for your future. But it's always good to be mindful of the present. But you don't want to just listen to what everyone said about being bad about you, because if you don't think that's a bad thing about you, don't change. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't mean to say that you don't listen to anyone. You should take on board some constructive criticism and then think, is this constructive criticism I'm getting? Is this a valid point? Is there any truth in it? Do I think they're right at all? But if you don't, then don't pay any more attention to it. Just think, well, they're a different type of person to me, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to stop being hyper just because someone doesn't like that about me. Some people might not be able to stand hyper people because they might be introverted and they might not like the hyperness energetic person. But a lot of the top entrepreneurs, they're on stage, they're very energetic and vibrant and caricatural. They have to be to hold an audience. If they were talking monotonous like this and all on one level, it'd be a bit boring, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? So you have to be quite vibrant and energetic to hold someone's attention. It's a gift, actually, but if it's used in the right way, you know? Anyway, I'd love to carry on talking to you all, but it's been like coming up to 2 hours. I'd like to go over the 2 hours just because I like round numbers. So I want to thank everyone who's been in the stream tonight for being my awesome friends, my amazing, beautiful, beautiful souls. I love you so much. Thank you very much to Sam and to Ray. Yes, I've got like, what is it, 26 seconds. Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you so much, Heather. And just remember, it's fine to be emotional. It's fine to cry. It's better to let all those negative emotions out than keep them bottled in, because then you can live a much more positive, vibrant life where it's expelled and just got rid of, and then you can get on with your life. Thank you so much, Sam, for saying it's a great stream. And so, yeah, I'm going to say good night now. I've absolutely loved it. If there's anyone watching this channel that hasn't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button below. It really, really is worth coming on and being part of this chat show for asexuals and asexuality. It's like a self-development and self-growth for asexuals and asexuality. So please subscribe now. And don't forget to hit that great big bell icon to get notified every time I go live right now or post a new video. If you think someone would love to benefit from this channel, you can share this channel. You can share any video from this channel. Say subscribe. You can even take the link at the top of the channel and tell them to subscribe to this channel. It's basically, it's youtube.com/asexualize my asexual life is the channel link. If you ever want to give it out, just asexualize my asexual life, all those words after youtube.com, you know, https:/youtube.com/asexualize my asexual life. That is the channel name. So if you ever want to give it out and tell people to subscribe, please do. Share this with anyone who'll benefit. Give it a thumbs up. And I love you all dearly. Thank you, Sam, Ray, Heather, and Andy. Love you lots. Embrace your quirky and each other's. Take care. I'll see you all soon. Lots of love to all you beautiful people. I love you so much. Bye.